30-year-old man was preparing dinner in the kitchen wearing an apron when he suddenly heard a sweet voice. Daddy, what are you making? The voice asked, full of curiosity. Jungkook turned to see his 6-year-old son, Jun, who adored his father. Jungkook's eyes softened as he scooped Johnny into his arms, kissed his cheeks, and set him onto the shelf. I'm making my son's favorite dish. Can you guess what it is? Jungkook asked with a smile. Junie's eyes lit up. Pancakes? I love you, Daddy, he exclaimed. Jungkook smiled warmly and replied, Love you too, my son. Now go sit on the chair. I'm starving. Junie beamed. Okay, Daddy, you are the best. He kissed Jungkook's cheek before being sat down on his feet. The little boy then dashed off to the dining table. After they both finished their dinner, Junie leaned back and pouted. I am full, Dad. Jungkook noticed the food still on Junie's plate. Okay, but you have to finish it, he said softly. Junie looked up with his big, pleading eyes and promised, I will eat it before I go to sleep. Jungkook couldn't help but give in. All right, now go brush your teeth and get ready for bed. I will join you in a few minutes, Jungkook said. But Dad, I want to sleep with you. Junie said, his voice tinged with sadness. No, my boy, it's time for you to sleep in your own room. Jungkook replied. Junie's face fell and he whispered, Maybe if mom were still here, she would sleep with me. Jungkook's heart sank at Junie's words. He hesitated, feeling the weight of his son's sadness. All right, Jungkook finally said, his voice softening. Go to my room. I will sleep with you tonight. Junie's expression instantly brightened and he dashed off toward Jungkook's bedroom, his earlier sadness forgotten. After Junie hurried off to the bedroom, Jungkook stayed behind, tidying up the kitchen and washing the dishes. Once everything was clean, he headed to his room. When he entered, he found Junie already snuggled under the blankets, eyes half closed in contentment. Jungkook smiled at the sight and quietly grabbed his laptop, sitting on the sofa to finish some work while Junie drifted off to sleep. The room was peaceful, with only the soft sound of Junie's breathing. And Jungkook felt a sense of calm wash over him as he worked, knowing his son was close by. As Jungkook worked quietly on his laptop, he glanced over at Junie, who was now sound asleep. The blanket pulled snugly around him. Jungkook finished his task and closed his laptop, then carefully set it aside. He walked over to Junie's bed and gently pulled the blanket up, making sure his son was warm and comfortable. With a soft smile, Jungkook settled down next to Junie, feeling his son's small, peaceful breaths against his side. Jungkook's thoughts drifted to memories of Junie's mother, feeling a mix of nostalgia and longing. He wrapped an arm around Junie, reassuring himself that he was doing his best to provide the love and comfort his son needed. Soon the room was filled with the quiet hum of Jungkook's steady breathing, blending with Junie's as they both drifted into a restful sleep. The alarm kept ringing, but the girl slept right through it. When it went off again, Wine groggily turned it off and suddenly remembered her interview. Oh no, I'm going to be late, she said, jumping out of bed and rushing to the bathroom. Wine, who is 24, lives alone in a rented apartment and is looking for a new job after being fired from her last one. She quickly got ready for her interview. Wine rushed to her job interview, arriving at the company and going through the process. After the interviewer told her, Sorry, but we chose someone else. We needed more experience for this role. Vine felt disappointed, thanked him, and left. As she walked back to her apartment, she fell down thinking about where her next job opportunity might be. Wine came home feeling sad and started doing chores to keep herself busy. She cleaned up, did her laundry, and tidied the kitchen, trying not to think about the interview. That night, Wine lay in bed talking on the phone with her friend Jessica. Her voice carried a mix of frustration and weariness. Yeah, I know, Wine said, her tone reflecting the weight of her recent job struggles. Jessica's voice was reassuring, but you should apply to other places too. Don't lose hope, I'm here for you, and we will get through this. Wine gave a smile, grateful smile. Thanks, Jessica. I really appreciate it. I will talk to you later. She said, ending the call with a sigh of relief. Suddenly, Wine was jolted by strange noises coming from the living room. Her heart skipped a beat with a trembling hand. She grabbed a heavy watch from the side table and carefully stepped out of her bedroom. Each step felt like an eternity as she made her way toward the unsettling sounds. As she reached the living room, Vine hesitated for a moment, her breath catching in her throat. She slowly pushed the door open and peered inside. Her eyes widened in horror at the sight before her. A man stood in the middle of the room holding a gun. His appearance was chilling. He had a piercing on his lower lip, tattooed arms that were partially visible from under his rolled up sleeves, and his wavy hair hung messily around his face. Wine's blood ran cold, and a scream escaped her lips. Echoing through the apartment, the fear and shock were overwhelming as she stood frozen, staring at the menacing figure in her living room. Wine, her voice trembling, demanded, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" Before the man could respond, the sound of police sirens grew louder. Piercing through the tense atmosphere, Wine's mouth opened to scream, but before she could, the man rushed toward and kissed her forcefully.